Retro Zone.
Hey, this is Lauren Mary Kim, and I'm the stunt double for Ahsoka Tano in Clone Wars and the armorer in The Mandalorian. You're listening to Dennis and Jay on Podcast Stardust. This is the way.
Bright Sun Star Wars fans, I'm Jay Krebs.
And I'm Dennis Keithley.
And this is another fully armed and operational edition of Podcast Stardust, the galaxy source for Star Wars news, reviews, and discussion. Dennis, can you tell everybody where our listeners can find us on social media?
We are located on Facebook and Instagram at Podcast Stardust.
All right. So today on Podcast Stardust, episode 862, we are bringing you our special monthly feature called World Between Worlds, a mystical dimension that connects Star Wars fashion and lifestyle products to your space and time. The goal is to bring you a wide variety of ideas for products to surround you, outfit you, and bind your style sense together, kind of like the Force. So with this month of March, warmer weather and milder temperatures are starting to spring up around many parts of the galaxy. So we are getting into some products and travel ideas to give you a jump start on summer, as well as a few other new products out there as well. But before we plunge into the plethora of products awaiting that discussion, Dennis and I do a recap of any new items either of us has acquired since we last spoke, or any other product updates that we want to discuss. So, Dennis, anything to update us on?
Well, I don't have anything new, but I did share on a previous World Between Worlds that I got the new gift collection of the Dr. Squatch soaps out there.
Mm-hmm.
I finally finished the Palpatine bar, and so I moved on to the Kylo Ren bar. Don't ask me about the scent. I'm not good with describing the scents, but it smells pleasant. What I found interesting, though, is that the four soaps in that box are Obi-Wan, Rey, Kylo, and Palpatine, and from not Obi-Wan, Luke Skywalker. So Luke, Rey, Kylo, and Palpatine. As you go from Luke to Palpatine, they get a little bit more gritty along the way. I didn't notice the grit so much with the Palpatine bar, but I'm really noticing it with the Kylo Ren one, which is supposed to have less grit. But at any rate, yeah, it's fine. It's not so much that it's scratching or anything like that, but it's good for exfoliation and the like. But I'm still liking those. Those are fantastic. And then you and I were talking a little bit before we started recording. I'm known for having this very large Star Wars sock collection, but and I wear these pairs out. The socks that I have, because I wear them so often. And this week, I wore out 3 different pairs finally. So I'm getting deeper into my sock drawer and starting to find some Star Wars socks that I haven't actually worn much because they've just gotten buried under all the new pairs that I have. But that's fine. I had a favorite pair that wore out, but that just means that I'm freeing up space in the drawer for more new socks. But
there you go.
At any rate, I do love my Star Wars socks, and my wife spoils me by getting them for all the different gift-giving occasions. So there we are.
Yes, and I love that. But that's so much fun to find things that you forgot you had. It's almost like, reaching into your jeans pocket and finding like a $10 bill, and you're like, oh, wow, that was a bonus kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's
But how about you?
Well, for me, I actually got something very unique, and it was a gift from one of my custodians where I work at my school. And they were actually going through some stuff to get rid of, and they ran across this particular item and thought of me, which I have to say, and I told him the same thing. I said, I love and adore the fact that when people see anything Star Wars, they instantly think of me. And that just, that brings this, Yoda would say, warm feelings to my heart. So he brought this to me, and it was this vintage Darth Vader mug. And it stands, I would say about 5 to 6 inches tall. And it's really awesome. He said that there was something that went either in it or on the top of it, but that they didn't have it anymore. And he goes, oh, I don't know if you'll actually want to drink out of it. And I said, you know what? this would be perfect to use as like a flower vase. So right now I have it displayed on my, like behind my desk at work, but I did find one on eBay available for like $15. And it's a very interesting kind of look to it because it's very much almost more narrow towards the top, but it's got a nice big handle on it and it's
Yeah.
super cool. So I was very humbled by the fact that he thought of me to give this to. And so as soon as I get some flowers to put in it, I will definitely want to send you that picture too. But how cool is that?
No, it's very cool. I'm just trying to figure out what flower would look ideal in there. And it seems to me that'd be something that's a bright orange red color would be like ideal to put in that mug because it would like match Mustafar, match his lightsaber and the like.
Oh yeah, maybe some Shasta daisies or, something of that nature. I'll figure it out. Or
I
maybe
know
it
what
would
a
be good
daisy is,
for
but I'm not sure what that flower is you just said.
Shasta daisies come in all varieties, but there's some that are definitely like bigger and they're orange. So
Okay,
I'll
cool.
that'll be my mission. That'll be my assignment.
All right.
So another thing that I actually got was a late Christmas gift from my son and my future daughter-in-law, and it is the Star Wars Villainous Power of the Dark Side board game. And
Hmm.
I did not even know that this existed. And I'm going to be honest, I have not had a chance to dive into it yet. But it's basically where each player takes control of one of five Star Wars characters, either Darth Vader, Asajj Ventress, Kylo Ren, Moff Gideon, or General Grievous, which I think is a very eclectic kind of combination, must I
Hmm.
say. But each player has their own villain deck, a fate deck, a player board, and a 3D character. So, I mean, basically the whole like it's a strategy game and it's made for the family. So it's basically there's different ambitions of these villains and they perform actions that power different effects based on the villain's use of the force, strategic leadership, or just sheer luck. And so it also incorporates some villain specific missions and rules for things like iconic ships and transports from all corners of the Star Wars galaxy. So I am super excited to dive into this. And there is a website called boardgamegeek.com that goes into very, very much detail on this game. There's actually 88 different images to look at. And so there's metal credit tokens, there's, tons of different things in here. And I'm in awe at how detailed this actually is. And it makes me even more excited to play it. But
Yeah.
I just have to find somebody to play it with. But I'm assuming just based on your reaction that you have not heard of this game either.
No, actually, I have.
Oh, you have?
As
Okay.
yeah, the original version of Villainous was a Disney themed game where they had different Disney villains from the various animated movies, and then they've made a number of expansions for that.
Mm,
During COVID, we got the Marvel version of Villainous,
okay.
and we played it once, and we liked it. It's just that it was hard to get a grasp of the rules at the
Hmm.
time. And we kept resolving to like go watch someone play it on YouTube or something like that before we tried playing it again. And then we just never got around to doing it. But like in the Marvel version you have like Thanos and Killmonger, and I'm trying to think of the other heroes. I think they may have made some expansions for that as well. I didn't realize there was a Star Wars one out yet, but I have played Villainous before, and it's a
Cool.
fun game. It's just when I guess I was expecting something a bit more like Pokemon based on the cards and things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
And it was a bit different from that. And you kind of have, I think if you're going to play it, what you need to do is sit down and like do a real practice round where you are, every turn you're looking at the rules to see what you're supposed to do, because it can get complicated with trying to figure out exactly the order of things that are supposed to happen in. But I know I've heard plenty of podcasts where people have played these games, not so much the Star Wars one, and they've absolutely loved it. And then they invite people over to play these games. So
Well, that's
I'm
cool.
anxious to hear what you think of it once you've had an opportunity to play it.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling that when Colby Wine comes home from college this summer, we'll probably end up diving into it. But maybe I'll force my husband to play with me. Who knows? But I haven't even opened the box yet, so I need to go through it and just check it out. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. So those are my finds for this month. And again, both of those were gifted to me, but I'm very, very gracious, or sorry, I'm very thankful that I was able to get both of those things and put them into my Star Wars collection. So now we're going to move on to some new things. And ironically, one of those has to do with Dr. Squatch. So I wonder if you were reading my mind, like force trick, kind of thing. But at any rate, so Dr. Squatch does have a couple of new limited edition The Mandalorian soap options. So they have a 2-pack of This Is the Wash, which is a medium grit with sand, chamomile, and coconut oil, and then a Zen cleanse, which is a no grit chamomile and coconut oil, and you can get those for $16.99. So when you're talking about the different grits, the Mandalorian's a little bit more gritty than Grogu, apparently. And then the 4-pack includes 2 of each plus a free soap saver for $31.20 right now, which is actually on sale for 35% off the original $48. So, once again, Dr. Squatch is at it with the Star Wars soaps, and I know you've enjoyed them. I know my son has enjoyed them as well. So they keep coming out with some new stuff, which is cool. And then they also have now these deodorant duos. So these are some previously released scents. And so you were just talking about Palpatine. So they have Palpatine's Dark Essence, and then they have Yoda's Clean and Calm. And so you can get those. Basically, you get I looked to see if you can buy the deodorant by itself, but I couldn't find a place on the website where you could just buy the deodorant. But you can get the duo with the matching soap. So you can, match up the Dark Essence with that. And so it just says it's got the electrifying scent. And so there's those two. And I thought that was pretty cool. And you can get both in one value pack of a light versus dark for $37.80. So, yeah. So I know a lot of people are going a little bit more to the natural deodorants and kind of getting away from, some of the ammonium based types of things and, going towards, the other side of things. But is this something that you would be willing to try?
Well, I mean, I have done the matching soap and deodorant thing in the past.
Okay.
I've had both these soaps, as a matter of fact. I mean, I was just talking about the Palpatine one, and the
Hmm.
Yoda was part of the gifts collection that I've had in the past that was included Yoda, Obi-Wan, Maul, and Darth Vader,
Hmm.
and as well. And so, that was a good bar. I liked it as well. So yeah, I mean, I'd consider it. Of course, it's mailing away for your stuff like that, and
Sure.
but which is fine. But Dr. Squatch makes good soap. I mean, if you, it's your personal preference. A lot of people just like grabbing their bar of Dial at the grocery store, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
Hmm.
I do like the added touch of having something that is I'm not even sure the texture maybe of that soap that
Sure.
you get from something like Dr. Squatch compared to just what you pick up. More of a plasticky clay type feeling, I guess, maybe
Hmm.
with what you get at the store. So these are, these are nice soaps. If you want something a little different, again, not sure how to describe it.
Yeah, no, I think you did a fine job. And it's really fast shipping too. So if
Mhm.
you go on the website, for example, just looking at it right now, if we were to order this in 13 hours and 54 minutes, we would get it just at the time of this recording, it would be like 3 days later, which is
Mhm.
pretty darn quick. I know some of these are actually sold locally, believe it or not, at our
Oh,
local
really?
Ace Hardware.
Oh, huh.
I saw some Dr. Squatch in there, but I just think that it cracks me up that they call the deodorant Sinister Stick, for example, as opposed to the Sinister Scrub, of the actual soap itself. And then for Yoda's Clean and Calm, the soap is called Wisdom Wash, and then the deodorant is called Wisdom Guard.
Right.
So they're always very ingenious when it comes to those. So once again, if that is something that interests any of our listeners, you can head over to drsquatch.com, and they always have these little pop-up windows too that you can spin to win certain percentage off and that kind of thing. So if anybody picks these up, let us know what you think. That's for sure. All right, so moving on to some spring and summer things, I found some new kicks. So if you're in need of some new shoes for your spring and summer wardrobe, I found a company called Foot Wonders. And this is the first time that I've ever encountered this particular website slash merchant. And so they have 12 different high top type tennis shoes in all different Star Wars styles. So again, 12 styles to choose from, $99.95 a pair, currently on sale from $119.99. You can sign up for an instant 10% discount by submitting your email. The company is from Phoenix, Arizona, so they do ship to, all over the United States. And they run sizes, both men's and women's. So the men's sizes run from 5 through 14, and the women's sizes run from 6 to 11 and a half. And there is a size guide on the website in case you need it. They do have a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. And if you can't make a decision of what you want, they have 2 items, you get 10% off, 3 items, you get 15% off. And they boast that they are all handmade. So when you do get the shoes, there might be some slight differences from maybe the pictures or even from each other. And they have, if you're interested, a 17 to 24 day delivery time, which includes being put into the queue after you order, the manufacturing, and the shipping. And there's actually lots of other fandoms available too, besides Star Wars. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the styles here. I featured, no surprise, the Ahsoka Star Wars shoes in our picture there in the notes. But this one has basically, it's like a black, like, and dark gray leather. And the Nike swoosh is Ahsoka's blue and white head tails. And then it has some embellishments of embedded, like really dark burnt orange. And there's just a really good looking pair of shoes, honestly. And I was really impressed by that. And then some of the other styles, I won't go through all 12 of them, but some of the other styles include the Darth Vader, which is black with some red lightning going through it, and then Darth Vader's head. You've got the Jedi Council, which is more of like an aqua blue with black, and the Jedi Council symbol. Then I really dig in the Boba Fett ones too, because it's more distressed.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Nike swoosh almost looks like it's, half falling apart. There's Baby Yoda. There's another set of Darth Vader, which is a little bit different. A second Boba Fett, which is a little more modern looking. Even some Chewbacca shoes, Mandalorian, Baby Yoda. There's tons. So yeah, I thought these were pretty good looking shoes, and I'm always a sucker for shoes. And I'm not going to lie, Dennis, it took me just about all of my non-clickability to try and to get these Ahsoka shoes. So I'm putting these on my wish list, that perchance, if I do happen to, fall into a little extra dollar bills, y'all, around sometime, I might actually pick these up. But I was really impressed by the array of different fandoms that they have too. I'm just going to throw out a couple of them. So they have like Pokemon, My Hero Academia, they have Yu-Gi-Oh, even One Piece, which I know is super popular right now. And then they also have just some regular themes like Japanese art, fitness, animals, even dogs and cats, skull art, that type of thing. So there's all kinds of different versions and styles to pick from. But which one of these were your favorite?
Well, let me ask a question first. So, are they taking Nikes and modifying them? Because, as you mentioned, some of these have the Nike swoosh
Right,
on them.
right.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I mean, there's a lot of cool ones here. Well, one of the things I liked is that you mentioned there's 2 different pairs of Boba Fett's. One, you have the distressed version that represents the old version of the armor that we're familiar with from The Empire Strikes Back, and then you got the version that's from the Mandalorian in the Book of Boba Fett after he's restored his armor, and I think that's really cool. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of neat that they did both versions of that, and I think the fact that you can see them both on there really drives the point home with the version that
Yeah,
looks like it's restored, that's what that is, which is pretty clever. Um, for the colors and the subtleness of it all, I think the Mandalorian ones are really pretty cool on there. Of course, the thing is I've got high top like shoes left over from various other manufacturers that have made these, and as cool as they are, it's just hard to wear them a lot of times because you know how often can you just get out with these shoes when you don't have to like go to work
right.
or something?
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
No, I know. And we've talked so many times about subtlety. And
Uh-huh.
I had a feeling you were going to pick out those Mandalorian ones because you're right. I mean, they're standout enough, but yet they are also, you have to look twice to realize that they really are Star Wars, which is cool.
Yeah, I could envision getting those, and then I have a replica of Han Solo's jacket from The Force Awakens. I'm like, those would look really good with that. And so
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be something to wear to like a celebration or something
There you
along
go.
those lines. I I'm curious about these with the soul and what kind of support they have, or if you're going to need to put some sort of an orthotic or something in them.
No, that's a great question. They do say that they're all leather sole. I did see that,
Okay.
but I'm not sure like what the inner lining is. And I was just looking around too when I was putting these together, and that they just have they basically it just says that they draw inspiration blending art and fashion to craft standout pieces. So it says they look fantastic and feel great. Not sure what the inner portion of this is, and I
Hmm.
could go to the FAQs. I'm sure, if that was something that was, I think that's a great question, honestly. And if that's something that is of interest, you can always contact them they have a contact at vinylpod.com. But which is kind of weird because their name is Foot Wonders, but that's their email. So there you go.
Indeed.
So if you're interested, check out that link in our show notes. And once again, there's some pretty fun designs in there. So moving on, her universe has definitely been a staple here at World Between Worlds and Podcast Stardust. And so I was looking around for some springy offerings from her universe and definitely did not disappoint. So there's a couple of Padme picnic gown inspired pieces on there. So the first one I'm going to start with is the Padme floral filigree cardigan. And so this one is actually on sale right now for $51.92, which is 20% off. And as of the time of this recording, they're having a 20% site-wide sale. Say that 10 times fast. So pretty much everything is 20% off. This particular sweater comes in sizes all the way from extra small up to 3X. And once again, this is inspired by Padme's picnic gown in Attack of the Clones. So it's yellow, and it's a button-up cardigan that features the Naboo crest embroidered at the chest, and it's designed with flowers and golden filigree embroidered along the neckline and front, plus 3D purple rosette detailing. And it also has faux pearl buttons, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Spoiler alert, I just ordered this today. So I'll be able to talk about this on the next show. So it is 54% rayon, 23% polyester, and 23% nylon. I was just thinking to myself the other day that I needed something yellow in my life. And so this just kind of fit the bill. So there you have it. There's also, along those same lines, the Padme floral retro skirt. And this one is also $51.92, also 20% off. And this one is a yellow skirt that comes with a mesh overlay designed with embroidered leaves, filigree, and purple flowers. So once again, this is based on Padme's picnic gown from Attack of the Clones. And it does feature a half elasticized waistband, a back zipper closure, and all important pockets. There you go. So it is 97% cotton, 3% spandex. This one is gorgeous. It is definitely like the emulation of the picnic gown for sure. I just think they did an amazing job representing that there. And this one comes down to just about the knee. And it's a beautiful skirt. The next one is the Droids Cherry Blossom Cardigan. Once again, $51.92 at 20% off. And this one has a pastel pink and yellow ombre design with embroideries of C3PO and R2D2 on the front with a cherry blossom tree and falling petals, complete with cozy bishop sleeves. So if you don't know what bishop sleeves are, they are a long full sleeve that is gathered or pleated at the wrist, which creates a billowy draped appearance. So think, like a bishop in a church kind of a thing. And I will say that a teacher friend of mine at school has this one, and it is super cute. I actually almost picked this one up too, but I thought, well, she's already got this one, so I don't want to be too matchy. But but it's a great looking sweater. I love the ombre look of this one. Very springy with the pink into the ombre of that yellow, and it is 54% rayon, 23% recycled polyester, if that matters to you, and 23% nylon. And then another one that I thought was just super adorable is it just reminded me of for someone that might be looking for something to wear to a spring wedding, a graduation, or some other semi-formal event. And this one's really unique. So it is the Endor watercolor dress. And so this is a full length a full knee length dress that is on sale for $47.92. And so the description on this one says, blend into Endor's lush greenery in this Star Wars dress, featuring green watercolor and forest imagery on the tiered skirt, plus scout troopers riding their speeder bikes. Comes with flutter sleeves, pockets, very important, once again, and a side zipper closure. And it's lined and has smocking on the back for extra comfort. So when I look at this, first of all, I just think it's gorgeous because it has the word watercolor, I think, is perfect for this because it's not just one shade of green, it's all shades of green, and they are so blended just beautifully. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of a blend of like a 1950s feel, especially the bodice and the sleeves. But the skirt almost reminds me of like a pseudo patchwork kind of thing, which speaks 1960s to me. So it's kind of an eclectic look, but it's also just very feminine, and I just think it's gorgeous. So the main fabric, which is called the self fabric, is 100% rayon. So self fabric is just a terminology in the fashion world that just means like the main body of the fabric. And then the lining is 100% polyester. So I just think that one is super duper cute. And if I had somewhere to wear that one to, I would probably be picking that one up too. And then for our active wear, I just picked out a couple of things. And once again, I'm always looking for new active wear, not that I really need it, but this one caught my eye. It's the Star Wars Ships Active Shorts, and these are on sale for $23.92. And these are black, and they feature a lightweight top layer with an all over print of ships and AT-ATs. And then the bottom layer is more fitted, so it's more like biker short style, and features a slight sparkle detailing. And both short layers come with pockets, so you can put like your cell phone, your keys, or whatever. And it's complete with an elasticized drawstring waistband. So these are a little bit more like a short, but I think they would make for great running shorts, quite honestly, because I don't like traditional running shorts. They just don't sit well with me. Let's just put it that way. So I like the bike short look, but I like the fact that this has that other traditional short over top of it as well. So this one is made from 88% polyester, 12% spandex, and then the lining is 80% polyester, 20% spandex on that one. Little spoiler, I also ordered those. Okay, so it gets dangerous when I'm putting these notes together. Usually I can hold off, but these two, I was like, okay, we got to add that to Jay's wardrobe here. And then the other ones were the Jedi Order athletic shorts, and these are on sale for $23.92. The sizes on these are actually really limited, so they only have extra small, small, 2X and 3X available at this time. So if you check these out and you really like them, if they don't have your size, I would definitely check back another time when they start doing their restocks. So the description on this one, they have a heather gray main fabric, and it features the Jedi Order symbol in a black puff print at the leg. And then it has blue contrast stitching throughout. And the blue is more of like an aqua blue. And it comes with side seam pockets and an elasticized drawstring waistband. And they do have a matching hoodie available on the website as well. So you can complement your look that way. So if you're looking for a whole outfit, there you go. And that one is 100% polyester. So I know that there's no like guy things in this section, but is there any of these that you think maybe Beth would like, or anyone that that would really dig any of these styles?
Well, instead of answering that, I'll tell you what impressed me the most out of that was the embroidery work on that Droid's cherry blossom cardigan that you were talking about that your coworker has. I kept looking at that. I was like, that looks really good. I mean, I'm not familiar with what it takes to do quality embroidery and stuff like that. But my fear when I always look at things like that is it's not usually embroidery. Is it an image that's going to wear out on you?
Mm-hmm.
But with the embroidery, you don't have to worry about that. That looked, I was quite impressed with the look of those.
Yeah,
Um,
and good call. And it is beautiful in person.
mhm.
It really is.
Yeah. And then I'm with you. I'm always, these obviously these shorts aren't for me, but it's hard to beat a good pair of comfortable shorts, and especially in those athletic styles. So those were pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I will admit that one of the things that also sold me on it was the sparkle. So
Yeah, there you
I'm a
go.
sucker for sparkle. What can I say? All right. So moving on to the outdoors, and I know I am getting the itch to go out on the deck and sit out on the porch. And I'm always looking for some new things every year just to kind of spruce things up for the spring. So if you are like me and you're looking for something like that, I actually found some fun things over on Amazon. So I found a Star Wars gold stamped lantern that has the rebel symbols in little clusters. And I will admit, the first image that popped up, that when it said that it was Star Wars, I was looking at it and I'm like, but is it?
Yes,
And
thank
then
you.
when
Because
I,
I looked at this and
okay.
I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh, it's the rebel insignia." Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically you take four of the rebel insignias and like put them together at the tippy top in almost like a square. Because I know
Yeah.
I was looking at it, I was thinking, okay, that looks almost like a four-leaf clover. Like, what am I looking at here?
Hmm.
But what really sold me on this one, just the look of it, is that I love that gold look. And I just thought that it was super cool because, you could put like a pillar candle in there, even if you have one of those flameless ones, that would look really nice in there and just add some really nice ambiance to the deck or the porch. And it has a handle too. So, you can kind of carry it from one place to another. And it's pretty big. So it's 11 and a half inches tall. And this one's selling for $34.99 on the Amazon website. They also have a couple of other things to complement it as well. There's a Star Wars stamped iron lantern with X-Wings and TIE fighters in kind of like a battle. And that one's $38.99. And this one's more of a square. And so you can't really carry this one anywhere. But when you put your candle in I should say rectangle, not square. When you put it in there, you will be able to get the glow of the candle to kind of, emulate out of those cut holes. And so it will cast that nice glow onto whatever you happen to have it sitting on. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And then there's also a ton of other things too on Amazon that they have listed for different types of decor. And so they do have, if gold's not your thing, they also have some of the darker, almost the it's like a black die cut, but it reminds me of, some of the wrought iron types of things. So there's some Imperial AT-AT Walker ones that stand 14 inches tall and a couple other designs from there as well. And then those wind chimes keep coming up. Remember we talked about those a couple of years ago too, that
Yep.
have, I think you have that set, don't you? Or
Had
didn't you?
it's kind of gotten destroyed by the wind, but we did have those once upon a time.
And those are super cool too. And then there's things like string lights. So they have like Baby Yoda string lights and tons of garden flags. So if you're, ready to pull out the garden flags, they've got some traditional, like the original poster of Star Wars, the original trilogy multi-character poster, and things like doormats. So I'm loving some of these doormats that are on here. There's Welcome to the Dark Side. There's one that just simply says hello there, and tons of stuff that way. So there's also some yard decor, little like types of like AT-AT decorations, and there's even some things for aquariums. And if you have like a koi pond, they have resin decor, that type of thing that you can put into those as well. So I just thought, wow, that's really a lot of fun. And you can go down a rabbit hole of a lot of different types of outdoorsy kinds of things. And once again, if you're wanting to spruce up your outdoor area with some of that stuff, hit up Amazon. Did you see anything on those lists that caught your fancy or your eye?
Oh, lots of cool stuff. Just getting back to the to that the first one we were talking about. The trick is not looking at the negative space on
Right.
that. You have to, and I kept looking. And I was like, what am I seeing here? But yeah, if you look at the the regular the metalwork itself. You'll see that logo on those. Yeah, but those are cool. That would be something nice to have out. I mean, it's 80 degrees here today, and with low humidity, it was beautiful outside. Something like this
Nice.
outside would have been fantastic. Uh, so yeah, those look really good.
Yeah, I cannot wait to pull out everything. And we are in need of a huge revamp on stuff this year because our some of our furniture, we've literally had it, Dennis, for over 20 years. And
Wow.
it's been rickety for a while. And I was just telling my husband today, I'm like, we really need to break down and just get some new patio furniture. So, maybe I'll add a few of these things too. And I did see again some of those outdoor patio type pillows, the black and
Hmm.
white ones that have those, once again, those interconnected kinds of things like TIE fighters and X-wings and so on and so forth. So I might have to revisit some of those too, because once again, I mean, you kind of have to look pretty carefully to know that you're actually looking at Star Wars. So I just dig that kind of stuff. So check that stuff out. And then, just like last time on World Between Worlds, I had started looking into different fun Star Wars travel destinations. So, of course, with spring and summer, a lot of people are looking to get out and about and do some traveling. So, I found another one for this month. So, this one is actually offered by Earth and Sky Dwellings out of Asheville, North Carolina. And they have a bunch of different types of dwellings to choose from. So they even have, ones called Dragon Knoll, the Perch, Wizard's Hollow. They have a farmhouse, one called Alchemy, all kinds of fun things. But the one, of course, that is Star Wars is called Phoenix, which I thought was
Mm.
a very interesting name. But this one is essentially like a ship. So when you get inside of it, like it looks like you're getting into like a gunship kind of a thing. And then once you get inside, I mean, you have to go check this out once again at earthandskydwellings.com. Hit up the link in our show notes. But every single one of these rooms has been detailed with such attention to everything from the colors to the textures to the types of furniture that were chosen. It makes you feel like you're truly in, a Star Wars like area, even down to the skylights. I mean, the skylights are even textured, and they have things like, the panels from the Imperial ships. There's some wallpaper. There's one in particular that is kind of an optical illusion that makes you look like you're looking down the like a tunnel in a ship
Hmm.
kind of a thing, which
Hmm.
is super cool. And even the doorways themselves, there's one that is kind of reminiscent of the Millennium Falcon, I feel like, one of the archways. And I was looking around because of course you can't really see how much they are until you start looking at dates. But they do have this one particularly sleeps four. There are two queen beds, including linens, Wi Fi, a coffee maker, two burner electric cooktop, an electric indoor grill, Roku TV, a kitchenette, a conventional bathroom. No pets are allowed though. Check in is at 4 p.m., check out at 10 a.m. And I threw in a couple different dates, and it is a standard refundable rate of $590 per night. So there you go.
Yeah, that'd be fun for a weekend getaway.
Yeah, I think so too.
Certainly there. Yeah, it's a nice balance of Star Wars style plus what you would expect from some sort of a luxury type of a rental. I mean, don't want to go too far into the luxury end of it, but what I mean, I suppose, is if you look at the flooring, if you look at the quality of the furniture and stuff like that, it's it's nice. That would
Oh
be a
yeah.
nice place to stay in. I mean, it tickles the imagination with all that imagery we were just talking about, but at the same time, I mean, it's not. It's a bit on the reserved side as well. I mean, you got the fun, futuristic looking furniture, but it looks comfortable. It looks like a place that you'd want to sit down and have a meal at, and that you're not necessarily going to be, you know, expected to put on a rubber alien mask or anything like that. It
Right.
got great views from the windows, with the forest and the trees and everything else around it. So yeah, looks like that could be a fun place for a long weekend or a few days.
Oh yeah, and it's right on the Blue Ridge Parkway. And if you look at some of the pictures, I mean, you are overlooking some amazing views. So, again, they do even do things like weddings there. So, I mean, could you imagine having, destination wedding there, which is super cool. They also have gift certificates available. So, if you're thinking about maybe gifting this to someone, they do have the ability to be able to do that. And you can get those in any dollar amount up to $2,000. So, if anybody wants to send us on vacation, we'll be more than happy to take that. But at any rate, so yeah, so there you go. It's just a lot of fun. I've really had a lot of fun looking at these destinations and just trying to find things, because there's a lot out there. There's actually a lot more than I would have actually first thought. And so it's very cool to see all of the different fun things that we can do as Star Wars fans.
Indeed.
So there you go. All right. So that'll do it for this month. Thank you all for joining us for episode 862 of Podcast Stardust and this episode of World Between Worlds. And we hope that you have enjoyed this episode. And if so, please make sure to subscribe to Podcast Stardust on your podcatcher of choice. And we'd also like to remind you that you can find all episodes of the podcast on retrozap.com. And RetroZap is also home to several other great podcasts covering everything from the MCU, DC, Dune, Star Trek, and a whole lot more. So there's a lot going on. Definitely worth checking out. And as always, we greatly appreciate a 5-star rating and reviews on whatever podcatcher you use, and especially on Apple Podcasts. That's just a good algorithm kind of thing. And we'd also appreciate it if you would share the show and your favorite episodes, hopefully this is one of them, on social media as well. So speaking of which, Dennis, can you remind everybody what those social media contacts are one more time?
All right. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Podcast Stardust. We have a Pinterest page, which you can find, Jay updates. The show is located on YouTube, both the video and the podcast format, but the video is really just the podcast. There's no images for that. Mm-hmm. And then you can find our t-shirts and the like over on TeePublic, a link for which will be in the show notes. Jay, you want to remind everybody what you've got going on in cosplay?
Absolutely. So speaking of Star Wars destinations, this coming weekend, I will be at Fan Expo Cleveland. So I'm super excited. I have my fourth sister to bring back. She's been hiding in the shadows for a while, so she's ready to hunt some Jedi. And then I also have a couple other non-Star Wars outfits as well that I will actually be debuting there. So I'm going to be having a lot of fun and volunteering with Rubber City Cosplay. So if anybody is at Fan Expo Cleveland this coming weekend, please try to check out everything and come say hi to me as well. I'm also going to be part of a panel called Wrong Answers Please, which is all about what to do and not to do when putting together cosplay. So really excited about that. So with that, coming up on the show this Friday, we are diving into our first edition of Revenge of the Sith trivia. So hopefully, I won't embarrass myself too much. Dennis always does a great job with the questions on that one. So I'm super excited. I think I'm going to do pretty well this time. Monday, we are getting back into another episode of our rewatch of the Clone Wars and our discussion with that. And then on Wednesday, we have another segment discussion of our Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary. And that will be part 3 of our year-long series celebrating that anniversary. But until then, thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. And until next time, may the force of Star Wars fashion and lifestyle be with you.